It was long, narrow, and always felt a few degrees colder than the rest of the floor. One evening, while carrying a basket of laundry, Leo noticed something. Between the bathroom and his bedroom, there was a small blue door. He had lived there for 3 months and could have sworn there was only a blank wall there yesterday. He touched the handle. It was ice cold brass. He turned it, expecting a closet. Instead, the door opened into a room that was perfectly circular. The walls were lined with mirrors, and in the center of the room stood a single high-backed wooden chair. On the chair sat a vintage porcelain doll, dressed in a lace gown that looked like it was made of spider webs. Chapter 2: The Staring Contest. Leo stepped inside, the door clicking shut behind him. He felt a strange pressure in his ears, like he was deep underwater. He looked at the doll. It was beautiful in a terrifying way, with glass eyes that seemed to drag his movement. As he watched, the doll's head tilted just a fraction of an inch to the left. "Okay, nope," Leo whispered. He turned to leave, but there was no blue door. There was only another mirror reflecting his own panicked face. He spun around. The room was full of Leos. 1,000 Leos in 1,000 mirrors. But as he looked closer, he realized the reflections weren't all doing what he was doing. One Leo was scratching his own neck. Another was leaning forward with a hungry look. And the doll, in every mirror, the doll was getting closer to him, even though the physical doll in the chair hadn't moved. Chapter 3: The Porcelain Smile. Leo felt a cold hand brush against the back of his